Welcome to a conversation with Senator Michael Moore. My name's Kevin Byrne, and Senator Michael Moore is our state senator serving the 2nd Worcester District, which is comprised of 7 communities and part of the city of Worcester. And the most important one I always say that Mike can't always agree with me on is that Shrewsbury is the most important one. And it has been ages since Michael and I have met in person.
Yeah.
And we were just discussing with Liz, who runs this bloody show for us, that the last program that we did, the last conversation we had, quote, program, was probably in January.
Yeah, January, February. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Michael and I
Long time ago.
Michael and I have talked about, we are sitting in a very large studio with no other human beings in it, with the exception of Michael and I. We are at least 10 feet apart from each other.
We were tested on the way in.
And we were tested on the way in.
For our temperature.
And one of the problems, so we're going to do this without microphone, without masks, okay? But bearing in mind, we'd only do it because we know each other. We know we're both negative because we've both been tested.
Yep.
And we're having a discussion at a distance, okay? One of the difficulties with masks, we were just talking about it before, I wear hearing aids. I have so many more appliances, Michael, than you can stick at. And one of the problems is when you take off it, you put it on and then you take it off, somehow it gets entwined in the hearing aid, so that winds up someplace on the floor of my car, and I spend the next 3/4 of an hour trying to find it. All right, enough of that. How are you since we last met and did one of these programs? I don't have a clue where to start. By the way, we're doing this on November 3rd at 10 minutes past 5 on Election Day.
Yes. And it's looking like it's going to be an election day that's going to break records.
Oh yeah, the numbers.
The turnout's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
I know when I left the house this morning at 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
the radio was saying that we had already had, I think, 2.1 million voters in Massachusetts that had cast votes.
Not counting who were coming
Not counting who was coming in today.
in today. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
In a sense, it's absolutely wonderful. It's just unfortunate, Michael, that it took this chaos that's been created during the course of this campaign to get people out voting.
Well, and there's a lot of distortion of this too, because there's many states that have had mail-in ballots
For years. Yeah.
Yep,
Without any problems.
no problems. Now, because of who's running in the race on one side, making
Yeah.
all these allegations of
Oh, sure,
fraud, and
fraud. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say this, since I've been in the legislature, we've done the pre-registration at 16, we did the early voting. There's always pressure on doing the same-day voting.
Yeah.
And I thought a lot of the other things sounded good.
Yeah.
Didn't really think it was gonna increase the turnout.
Right.
I've always been one that, I'm gonna vote. I don't think I missed a vote since I was 18.
Right. Nor have I.
But the early voting, we saw a little uptick, but nothing huge. But this mail-in
Yeah.
the ballots,
Yeah.
it's amazing. If we wanna maintain this type of accessibility for voters
Sure.
to vote,
Right.
this is a great system. It's
Yeah.
just, we just gotta make sure we perfect it, and we can
Sure.
make sure that there's ways to get around any attempts of fraud,
Yeah.
which if you look at the way Massachusetts is doing it, it's not just mailing it out to everyone.
Right.
You have to call the town clerk.
Fill
ask
out
for
an
it,
application.
Fill out, yep, I called, they sent me it.
Yep.
Filled it out.
Yep.
Sent it back, ballot came in.
Yep.
So this is the first time, well, actually, the primary is the first time I did a,
That's the first time that Virginia and I did it too. And by the way, we filled out and not mailed, walked up to Sandy Wright's box on October 9th. Okay, so I said, it's all over. Virginia and I and Melissa, who lives next door to us, all three of us got it up there on October 9th, for Pete's sake, you know. Every so often I would have occasion to talk to Sandy and say, we there? She'd say, yeah, you're there. Okay, we're there.
We don't, actually, the only problem I think, that I've heard is more, with the colleges. One, to remain nameless, that I've got a relative going to one of the schools.
Yeah.
She put in for a mail-in ballot for the primary. It never arrived at the school.
Ooh.
So she actually ended up having to come back, vote, which right now is an issue because they can't even come back for holidays.
Oh, because of the
because
school
of COVID.
situation. Okay.
So it was the first week of October, I get a call from this person that they've just got their Democratic primary ballot in October.
Ooh.
So then I called the school's guaranteed, that makes sure she'll get it.
Yeah.
She ended up having to come back again, because as of yesterday, she still hadn't have the ballot. So, and this is actually what they will do. So now when she shows up to vote, they actually delete the other ballot.
Yeah.
Or they void it.
That's right.
So this way,
There's no way you can double vote.
right, there's
Yeah.
no way that she's voting twice. It's one vote, they void it out.
Yeah.
So, we do have protocols here in Mass.
Yeah, and it
Again,
works.
some states, I think it's California, they just mail it out to everyone, I think. I mean, that could be an issue, but, no, it's a learning process, and I think now that we've seen how, we've increased the voter turnout,
It's phenomenal.
it might be something that we,
It really and
yeah, that
truly
we
is
should
phenomenal.
look through the future.
Without all of the chaos that's been created, candidly, by the president. Okay.
Yes.
Without.
Who himself used the absentee ballot.
Yeah, well, no.
Basically the same
This
thing.
year he didn't. He was
No,
in-
but
he
in
was
previous
yeah,
elections,
I
he
know,
used
did.
it,
The
yeah.
whole family did.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He says, oh, this is terrible. This is all fraud and bad sort of stuff. It's too bad. It really
Yeah.
and truly is.
Really is.
This is let's say a remarkable, hopefully once in a lifetime, once in a century situation in which this kind of chaos is going to come about, okay?
Yeah, I hope we never see it again. I have,
Yeah.
I've never seen even when I got elected and we were going through the Great Recession, it just started.
You've been through all sorts of chaos.
Yeah, we were just that.
Your first year was when? '07?
No, first year was
'06?
2009. I got elected I got
2009.
elected the fall of 2008.
8, okay,
Sworn in 2009.
right.
Literally, they
Get
swore.
down there and we're told, welcome, you're here, we got no money.
Well, even worse. Swear you in, and then literally 5 minutes later, the next thing was we were cutting $1 billion from the budget.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I got elected for?
Yeah. He got on there with his whole list. This is what I'm gonna do, this is
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
help
gonna
here,
do.
I'm gonna help this group. You know,
And now you're going through the pandemic sort of situation, which
yeah,
is.
but I will say this, I am thankful that we did wait to do the budget, because when we were looking in,
You're talking now?
now,
Oh.
when we were doing the budget back in May
Yeah.
or June for this coming fiscal year we're in right now,
Yeah.
the original estimates, we were gonna be, estimates from outside entities, we were $6 to $8 billion in the red.
Yeah.
We held off, we pretty much level funded everyone with, cost of living increases. Now, we're looking at doing the budget sometime in November, end of November, and the deficit has been dropped to about 3.6 billion.
Okay.
So when they did,
What
when
did the old senator say? $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Charlie Baker's proposal, his proposed budget just came out just a while ago, couple weeks ago, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
At that stage, $54 billion,
yeah.
requiring to chew in, obviously, to the rainy day fund. If there is a rainy day, this is the rainy day.
Well, and again, the beauty about waiting is we have roughly about $3.5 billion in the rainy day.
Right.
And we can't use it all this fiscal year. So the fiscal year started July 1st. It goes until June 30th. We have our concerns about next fiscal year, which
Sure.
we're actually gonna start the budget debate in January.
Right.
January, February. Because we don't know, like, when we were looking at the surge in the fall, the spring,
Sure.
okay, we had the shutdowns. Businesses started opening up again,
Yep.
and now
Here
we have a
go.
potential another
Here we go again.
surge.
Right.
So let's hope that we don't have to go back to where we started.
Yeah.
Because we'd hate, businesses are operating, we've reduced the deficits from 8 billion to this 3.6.
Right.
So now, Governor Baker's budget, I believe, uses 1.8 billion of the rainy day, 1.5 billion of some federal money that we have.
Yeah. What's the federal money? I saw that. Shelley had sent me
The
a bunch
CARES,
of
is it-
numbers.
I always confuse, the CARES Act, I believe it is, or the HEROES Act. The CARES Act is pending, the
Okay.
HEROES Act, or it's vice versa.
All right.
So, we got about 1.5 billion, of that he's gonna use. So we only have to use half of the rainy day.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we'll be able to utilize next.
There was some stabilization dough that was kicking around in there some places.
Well, the rainy day stabilization fund, it's the
Same thing.
same thing.
Okay.
So we should be all set. Unless-
There's also an issue if, you know, the feds, the Congress can get together on some kind of an additional package.
That would help us out. We would have.
And what's holding it up candidly is the Republicans who do not like, you know, funding going to states or municipalities. That's
Well,
the
the
biggest holdup in this thing, which makes no sense whatsoever.
The
I mean, in terms of, you know, public employees would be we're talking, you know, cops, firemen, you know, first responders, everybody, for God's sakes. And it's just sitting around.
some of the very states that opposed former President Obama
Right,
because of the deficit
sure.
and the spending.
Yeah.
Now this administration's come in with the tax cut they did,
Yeah.
added a couple $1 trillion to the
Sure,
deficit.
Sure,
Now we have this adding to it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
You know, at some point, there's gonna have to be some taxes looked at federally,
Of course.
even, you know, we'll look at stuff statewide, but on the state level, but federally, there's gonna have to be something done to reduce that deficit.
Yeah.
But the funny thing, the thing about this whole thing, the very states who receive the most tax benefit, which the red states, the blue states, we pay in and receive less back
That's right,
per capita than some of the red states.
that's right,
And
that's right.
we've got the congressmen and the US senators out there that don't want to approve the funding. But, you know, the sad part is, even if, and obviously, it's 5 o'clock, we don't know the results. If President Trump loses and Mitch McConnell stays in there
Yeah.
and stays as the Senate president,
Yep.
we're gonna have the same issue.
Yep.
We're almost better having, if we're gonna have a loss by either one of them, if the President Trump were to win, but Senator McConnell were to lose, that would at least free up the dam that we've got in the US Senate.
Right.
Because he's the one holding up, no matter who you have for president, if you've got a Senate president that's not letting bills to the floor,
Right.
nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
So I think if we really want the country to move forward, in my opinion, it's a Biden win and Biden and Kamala
And the
Harris, and then getting the Senate back.
In the Senate. And it's a, knock on wood, what's left in here at the moment is just wood, is that is a possibility that
Yeah.
that could well happen with the way things are going. You know, especially if Trump takes the hits that many of us are hoping he's going to take in various states, that
Yeah.
it's going to run over into,
It's interesting, watching all the different news outlets
yeah,
on the path to his 270, and
it's difficult.
it's difficult. It seems like Vice President Biden and Senator Harris,
Yeah.
there's more ways for them to get to that 270.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago, I thought
Yeah.
Hillary was gonna win.
We all thought the same thing.
Yep. I held out a slim chance that President Trump could pull it off. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
And, you know, going into what, last week, they were saying we had double-digit leads.
yeah,
And now we're neck to neck in some of these areas.
yeah.
So, we'll see. Although,
Nobody's terribly sure what, there was somebody I heard who had a wonderful word about, pole nuts or something. You can go berserk with poles.
Now,
You
wait.
see one pole and it's this way, the other pole's that way.
no, I don't know if I don't know how valid it is, but talking to someone yesterday, actually, sorry, during the Patriots game, we were talking, and, yeah, that's another
The Patriots game.
disaster.
Total disaster.
We were talking about the election, and he asked what I thought. Tight race, I think Biden's chance, Trump could get in. And I never thought of this. This person actually said that he thought it was gonna be a blowout. And I'm like, why? His answer is that he checked the bookies, what their bet was on that. I
That's
didn't even
right.
know they ran. They had bets on this,
Oh, sure.
but they had Biden by
They
two.
bet on everything for Pete's
But they had
sake. Two
Biden,
hands across the table, that's all.
yeah, so they had Biden 2-1.
Yeah, yeah, it's 60-40, I think, right at the moment.
Okay, well, as of
It
Sunday,
It was 70-30 allegedly, and now it's down to 60-40.
Right.
Okay, that's because somebody's putting a lot of dough on it, saying, this would be a good bet for Pete's sake.
yeah, I never realized they bet on it. But anyways, we all know how accurate they are at predicting football games. So,
Sometimes.
sometimes, well, for the most part, they're pretty, that's where they make all the money.
That's right, that's right. They could
I would I would never even venture into doing that.
They
You know,
can
you work so hard for your money to
kinda
see it
read
blow up
that,
and gone in
son of a
that short of a time.
I have, for some crazy reason, Virginia and I have been really quarantined pretty well, only because, in all due respect, somebody said, gee, you guys are really staying in the house, and I said, yeah, maybe because there's no place to go,
Yeah.
We're theater nuts, we're symphony nuts, we're anything that involves, the cultural aspect of our lives, and everything was canceled, and there is no hope that it's gonna come back in the very near future. So
see,
we're
this
just
is-
kinda sitting around. So Virginia says, all of a sudden, you're a football fanatic. I said, yeah, it really and truly is, because I've run out of Netflix movies to watch. I've watched every Netflix movie that there is.
The first 3 months of it, I was that
Did you
way.
Did you do
Oh,
the same thing?
yeah. I was up until 2 or 3 in the morning just watching watching these series. I can't believe how many I watched.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. You sit there and then it's like, okay, one more,
Yeah.
then hopefully it's gonna end, then I'll go to bed, then you end
Yeah,
up watching another one.
After the disastrous game, on Sunday, Virginia and I had dinner, and then I said, okay, let me see what I can find. And I went through Netflix, and I said, no, I can't do this anymore, okay? And Virginia's back. Virginia, of all people, she says she's starting to watch war movies at this stage, because she's run out of every British movie that's humanly possible to read, okay? As I said, I don't know where to start with all the time that we've had. By the way, we have to do, Liz, remind us, we have to do another one of these within 2 to 3 weeks,
Yes, that's,
so that
we can catch up.
we will find out where the world really is.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out what the status is of this election.
Oh, yeah, and then.
We'll get to the status of the budget for last year, and then what we're going to do next year.
Hopefully be back in quiet time, okay?
And it's actually.
You know what a lot of people are looking for, and there was one of the columnists in the Globe, I become a Globe fanatic, because I can read the Worcester Telegram and Gazette in exactly 12 minutes, 9 of which are in the obituary page, just reading all that, because there's not much there anyway. But one of the columnists there had written this thing about, I just want quiet time, okay? I don't want to have to get up every morning and ask my spouse, what did he do today? Okay, we know who he was.
Yep.
And every day it was another crisis, catastrophe, issue, whatever it was. It's just time for us to Virginia was saying this, she's, when during the course of Obama's at least second term, which we got to focus on a little bit, did you watch a press conference? You know, the President Obama's press secretary. Occasionally there'd be something, but I mean, they ran them every week. Nobody ever watched them. They were
Yeah.
on C-SPAN, for Pete's sake, you know?
Yeah.
I think just quiet time would be an awfully good idea.
You know, when this first happened, I wondered if this would actually be good for people. Because the United States compared to other countries, we're always going.
Yep.
Where everyone's working, and there's a great work ethic here.
Yep.
People wanna work, they wanna have a quality of life.
Yep.
But it was like, we're always on the go.
Yep.
Then you hear about Europe and how, in some ways, they're really more family oriented than we are. They have mandatory vacations, companies don't
sure,
have, companies have to shut down.
Italy closes down for August.
And and I think France and Germany,
I think it's
they
the
have.
same thing.
So, it's like, well, maybe this will put us back in the proper perspective of what's important in life. But it's just gone on so long now that it's, I think,
Yeah.
whatever benefit we may have gotten from that little, what would have been a little break
Yeah,
for us all,
yeah.
I think now people are just getting overly stressed out about this.
Yeah.
And it's,
The problem with it, Mike, is that there's no end in sight.
yeah,
No end in sight if you listen to those who have expertise in what's doing. And again, it's apparently all on our shoulders. They keep saying at this stage, you know, gee, can you wear the mask? Can you stay away from each other? Can you not congregate? Can you not have Halloween parties? You know.
well, you know, it's, when this all first happened, I had said to people at that time that government was in a no-win situation.
Mm.
Because we were coming in, well, the administration, the states, because at that point, President Trump was saying it's all up to the governors.
Yeah.
It's all up to the states.
Sure.
Governor Baker was instituting some of his protocols or his
Yeah.
policies.
Yeah.
And said to some friends that, you know, we're in a no-win here, because if we're successful, which would be holding down the virus, the spread,
Yep.
but more importantly, making sure the ICU rooms weren't over capacity.
Sure, exactly.
That was the goal of
Yeah,
March,
yeah.
making sure we don't overrun the hospitals.
Overrun, and
So-
we had the equipment.
Yep, and we were successful in doing it, but because of that success, you then had people saying, oh, you overreacted, you did too
Yeah,
much. But if we didn't do it,
Right.
and more people had died, there would have been the criticism of government that you didn't do enough.
Yeah.
So we see this we were told back in the spring we were gonna have a second surge.
Yeah.
Oh, now that second surge is coming, and going to it yesterday, I think people just like, we don't know when there's gonna be a vaccine.
Right.
If the vaccine comes out, it's being rushed, I'm not gonna take it. Are we gonna have another one back in next spring?
Right.
So I just think, it's really,
We're living in the twilight zone.
yeah, the
I think it was by May, I had said, as things were really terrible at that stage, I said, 2020 is closed. That's it. There's no 220. And Virginia says, no, you know, we'll get through the summer, and then we'll start seeing normality. I said, no, that's not gonna happen. And it isn't. And now we're gonna go through holidays, you know?
Well,
And
the other
it is
thing that-
now, it snowed the other day.
Yeah, well, the
And
other thing to
it's-
worry about too now with the election today,
Yeah,
and I can be wrong on this,
numbers of people,
the protests we're gonna have.
yeah.
If,
I
you know,
don't even
depe-
wanna talk about that.
But you're talking about now a spreader event,
Yep,
and this is on both sides.
Yep.
The Republican and Democrat side. If
Yep.
all of a sudden we start having these protests based on the election,
Yep.
now we're gonna have events where more people are gonna be exposed to it.
yep.
So this could further compound or extend the duration that we have to deal with this.
And just as significantly, maybe more so, the fact that people are so divested of everybody else, okay? We have developed into we, they, really and truly. And it's so hard. That's got to break down. Maybe quiet time would do it, okay? Maybe everybody taking a deep breath and saying, hey, you know, there we are, okay?
Well, the thing I think we gotta remember too is about the masks. is the argument that, well, I have the right not to wear it.
Sure.
It's my body.
Yep.
Okay, that's true, but the wearing the mask is also about protecting the people you come in contact
That's
with.
exactly what it is.
It's, all right, you have that right. If you want to expose yourself, expose yourself.
Right.
But you then go
Sure.
meet other people who
Sure.
could have an underlying condition, who may not.
Exactly.
Even a lot of the people who are asymptomatic now, a lot of the medical reports that are coming out are showing that, okay, they didn't come down with the full-blown virus,
But they have it.
but they've got lingering health effects. They've got
Sure.
either respiratory or some pulmonary
Sure.
issues.
Right.
So we don't really know, even kids are coming down who
I
don't
know.
get
I
the
know.
virus,
School
are
kids.
having these after effects. So now we've got pre-existing conditions
Right.
that, again, now if this administration's successful in doing away with the Affordable Care Act, what happens to everyone now who's got these pre-existing conditions?
Everybody's, all 6 million of them right at the moment have a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, so what happens now?
Right.
So there's gonna be further long-lasting effects from this.
Right.
But I'm actually worried that, and again, hopefully, we don't have any protests. And if we do, nothing that has the violence that we've saw over the last year.
Right.
Look, everyone has the right to protest, that's the whole purpose of freedom of
Sure.
speech. But there's no, I don't care which side you are, there's no need for someone getting assaulted, a building being burned, or something being damaged.
Yeah. Or,
There's-
or people with guns running around.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
Doing crazy things,
Yep.
really and truly. How'd the kids get through this? We've only got a minute and a half. We've
Oh,
have
very
all
good.
sorts of things to talk about.
Very
How'd
good.
they get through it?
The kids,
Where's the boy?
he's a junior at Valley Tech, so he goes 2 days a week.
He's doing that split thing?
Yeah, they get the split thing. 2 days a week they're there, 2 days he's remote learning, then one day, I think it's Wednesday, they have off where they
How's
do
he
all the.
working? How's he
Fine.
relating to that?
Oh, no
That's
problem.
great. How about the nice lady?
Oh, she's out of Tufts. I drove out there this morning to see her.
Great campus. Isn't Tufts a
Yeah.
great campus?
Yeah,
Really
she's
is.
doing well.
And she's there?
She's there. She's studying bioneurology, and she's got an internship, which was supposed to start last spring, but got canceled. So she's actually working at a lab doing some cancer research.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's enjoying Tufts?
Oh, she loves it. Yeah, she enjoys it.
Son of
She's
a-
got 6 classes. 5 are online, 1 she goes
She's
to.
living in dorms?
Is she living in a dorm? Yep, she's living in a dorm. And then she's actually got this internship. So Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Good for her.
she's got this research internship, which they just asked her to continue over the summer, over the spring, and then go to work there next summer over
That's
break.
great. Isn't that
Yeah.
great, huh?
So just quickly, because I know we're gonna, the police
have-
reform.
Absolutely no more time to talk. We have managed to talk for 1 hour, and that says 3 seconds. Michael, next couple weeks, we're gonna sit down and talk about things,
And we'll have a lot to
a
discuss.
lot to discuss.
And I hope everyone stays safe out there and,
Please stay safe, please stay healthy, masks. Mine goes right back on, as does Mike, the minute we move out of here, okay? Join us the next time.
remember, support your candidate, but remember, we're all into this together.
You got it.
Thank you.